Now, the Gaza Civil Defense Agency, which is run by Hamas, says at least 55 people were killed overnight as Israel's new military offensive continues for a third day. Hamas has condemned a ground operation by Israeli forces as a new and dangerous violation of the ceasefire deal. Our Middle East correspondent Yolande Nell has the latest.
So there have been intense strikes overnight. In fact, some of the scenes that are coming out from Gaza really reminiscent of what was happening at the height of the war. In one hospital in the north of Gaza, you can see dozens of bodies, those of adults and children, wrapped up in white shrouds, lined up for a burial after these overnight strikes in the area. Other parts of Gaza were hit as well. We've also got, other signs that this ceasefire is continuing to unravel. Israeli ground forces, more troops going into the south of the Gaza Strip, and they've also retaken part of what's known as the Netzarim corridor, which divides the north of Gaza from the southern part. Very strong comments yesterday evening from the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, really warning that attacks are going to intensify unless Hamas releases all of the remaining hostages and gives up its control of Gaza. Hamas has not declared at this stage that it's going to return to fighting. We know that there is a lot going on diplomatically behind the scenes.
Yes, tell us a bit more about what's happening behind the scenes. Have those mediation efforts completely broken down now?
We believe that regional mediators are talking to Hamas. We've had comments from Washington basically saying that a bridging proposal that it put forward last week, which Israel approved of, was still on the table, at least for now. Hamas, of course, had rejected that proposal. It put forward its own proposal to extend the ceasefire, whereby a smaller number of hostages would be returned, one living American-Israeli soldier and 4 bodies it was offering. And the Americans had been demanding a larger number of living hostages to be returned in exchange for at least an extension of the ceasefire. Hamas is really saying consistently that it wants to return to the original terms of the ceasefire deal that started on the 19th of January. And it sees what's been happening as violations of that. It really wants to get to the second phase of that, which would ultimately involve an end to the war in Gaza, a full pullout of Israeli troops.
And that was the BBC's Yolande Nell there reporting.